In the spring of 1901, off the rugged coast of Antikythera, Greek sponge divers plunged into the Aegean Sea. The water was cold, the depths perilous, and storms often claimed lives. But what they discovered would change history. Amid the wreckage of a Roman cargo ship lay treasures, marble statues, amphorae, coins. And among them, half hidden in the sand, a lump of corroded bronze and wood. It looked unremarkable, a fragment destined to be forgotten. Yet inside this broken shell lay gears and mechanisms of a complexity no one believed possible for the ancient world. This was not merely an artifact, it was a message across millennia, an ancient machine that seemed to whisper, "We were more advanced than you think." Today we call it the Antikythera Mechanism, and it has been called the world's first computer. When the artifact was first brought to the surface, it attracted little attention. Archaeologists focused on the statues and coins, objects that glittered with obvious value. The corroded bronze lump, split into fragments, seemed little more than debris. It wasn't until months later, when scholars examined it more closely, that they saw something astonishing. Embedded in the corrosion were the teeth of gears, tiny, precise, and deliberate. This was no ordinary relic. It was a machine. But how could such intricate engineering exist in the ancient world? The fragments were placed aside in the National Archaeological Museum of Athens, where decades would pass before their secrets began to unfold. From the beginning, the mechanism was cloaked in mystery. Too advanced for its time, too fragile to explain itself, too extraordinary to ignore. The mechanism did not survive intact. It was broken into more than 80 corroded fragments, many no larger than a coin. Some bore inscriptions, others revealed interlocking gears frozen in rust. For decades, scholars debated whether the device could even be reconstructed. Early X-rays in the 20th century revealed hidden layers, gears upon gears, aligned with mathematical precision. What emerged was nothing short of revolutionary. This was not a decorative trinket, but a sophisticated analog computer designed to model the heavens. It could predict eclipses, chart the phases of the moon, and even track the timing of the Olympic Games. The puzzle lay scattered across fragments corroded by the sea, but piece by piece, it began to tell its story. A story of brilliance that seemed centuries ahead of its time. Historians soon realized that the Antikythera Mechanism was an object out of place in history. Comparable technology would not reappear until the medieval astronomical clocks of Europe, more than 1,000 years later. How then did Greek engineers of the 2nd century BCE construct such a marvel? The gears were cut with astonishing accuracy, their ratios reflecting complex astronomical cycles. Inscriptions hinted at knowledge of planetary motion and lunar anomalies far beyond what textbooks credit to the ancients. To many, it seemed impossible. Some suggested it must be a forgery. Others whispered of lost civilizations whose knowledge vanished with time. Yet the evidence was undeniable. The mechanism was real, ancient, and breathtakingly sophisticated. An impossible object, unless we accept that the ancients were capable of more than we dared to believe. The shipwreck that yielded the Antikythera Mechanism likely carried treasures looted from Greece, destined for wealthy Romans. Amid statues of gods and heroes, this small device might have seemed insignificant, but its presence reveals something profound. Advanced technology was not only conceived but also portable, carried across seas, perhaps commissioned by elites who valued both beauty and science. It suggests a world where craftsmanship and intellect intertwined, where bronze could embody the cosmos. The The discovery shocked historians because it contradicted the tidy timeline of progress. It forced a re-evaluation of Greek science and mechanical ingenuity. For if such knowledge existed in 100 BCE, what else might have been possible? What other wonders have been lost to time, buried under waves, or turned to dust? The mechanism is not only a relic, it is a challenge to history itself. Turn the handle of the mechanism, and the gears come alive. Bronze wheels interlock, their ratios perfectly calculated to mirror celestial cycles. The moon waxes and wanes, its phases displayed with uncanny precision. The sun's journey across the zodiac is charted, each sign aligned with the stars above. Even eclipses, moments of awe and dread, could be predicted. The ancients did not simply watch the sky. They sought to capture its rhythm, to hold time itself in their hands. This was more than engineering. It was philosophy expressed in bronze, the marriage of mechanics and cosmology. With each turn of the gears, the universe unfolded, not in myth, but in mathematics. The Antikythera Mechanism revealed a cosmos both ordered and knowable, a reflection of the Greek belief that the universe was built on harmony, ratio, and design. One dial tracked the 4-year cycle of the Olympic Games, marking not only sporting events but also festivals and civic life. To the Greeks, time was sacred, measured not just by days but by divine appointments. The mechanism united astronomy with human affairs, aligning cosmic cycles with cultural rhythms. Imagine a statesman or priest consulting the device, turning a handle, reading the heavens, declaring the date of the next festival with confidence. It was a bridge between sky and city, between gods and men. The fact that such a device existed tells us Greek science was not confined to theory. It was practical, serving religion, politics, and daily life. Every gear was more than metal, it was meaning. The Antikythera Mechanism gave the Greeks mastery over time, a gift usually reserved for the gods themselves. The mechanism was small enough to carry, a wooden box no larger than a shoebox, yet within its casing lay the heavens. To turn it was to compress the cosmos into something tangible, transportable, almost personal. Unlike massive temple observatories, this was a universe you could hold in your hands. Its portability suggests it was meant for more than one place, perhaps for teaching, perhaps for a wealthy patron eager to display knowledge as well as power. Imagine unveiling such a device at a symposium. Guests leaning in as gears revealed the timing of eclipses, the phases of the moon, the approach of the Olympic Games. It would inspire awe, a symbol of both intellect and prestige. In this way, the mechanism was not just science but theater, a marvel that allowed the ancients to perform the cosmos itself. To craft such a device required genius. The cutting of gears so small and precise demanded tools and techniques far beyond what historians once credited to antiquity. Some believe its creator may have been a student of Archimedes, the legendary mathematician whose mechanical inventions astonished his age. Others suggest an unknown workshop of skilled artisans, hidden somewhere in the Greek world, capable of blending theory and craftsmanship seamlessly. Whoever made it must have possessed both deep astronomical knowledge and extraordinary mechanical skill. The mechanism is a reminder that history often preserves the names of generals and kings, but not always the inventors whose ideas reshaped the world. Behind this object lies the mind of a forgotten genius, one who, centuries ahead of their time, built a machine that made the heavens turn on command. The Antikythera Mechanism stands as the pinnacle of Greek mechanical science. It represents a moment when philosophy, mathematics, and craftsmanship converged. This was the age of great thinkers: Hipparchus calculating lunar motions, Archimedes exploring geometry, Eratosthenes measuring the earth. The mechanism embodies that spirit, a tool that transformed abstract ideas into working reality. Through its gears, we glimpse a culture that saw no divide between art and science, between beauty and utility. It is easy to forget how advanced the Hellenistic world was. Libraries in Alexandria, vast trade networks, temples that defied gravity. The mechanism is part of that story, proof that the Greeks reached heights of ingenuity we are only beginning to recognize. It is not merely an object, it is a monument to an age of brilliance, an artifact that reminds us how far human curiosity can climb. The Antikythera Mechanism poses a haunting question. If such brilliance existed, why was it lost? By the 1st century BCE, Greece was caught in the shadow of Rome, its golden age of science waning. Workshops that might have built such marvels were destroyed in wars or absorbed into imperial systems that valued conquest over curiosity. Libraries, including the famed Library of Alexandria, suffered fires and neglect, erasing texts that might have described similar devices. As centuries passed, mechanical knowledge dwindled. Europe would not see comparable gearing until medieval astronomical clocks 1,000 years later. It is as though the mechanism was a spark in the dark, flaring bright then extinguished. Its existence proves that genius is fragile. Without preservation, even the most advanced ideas can vanish, leaving only silence where once the gears of the cosmos turned. What makes the mechanism so mysterious is the absence of explanation. No surviving Greek text mentions it. No manual describes how to build or use it. The inscriptions on its fragments are cryptic, partial, eroded by seawater. They hint at astronomical cycles, eclipses, and calendars, but never reveal the whole design. Historians are left piecing together meaning from corrosion. If more such machines existed, they left no trace, no replicas in museums, no diagrams on parchment. The silence is deafening. It forces us to wonder, was the mechanism a singular marvel, built for one patron and lost with him? Or was it part of a tradition now vanished, erased by war, neglect, and time? This silence transforms the mechanism from artifact into enigma, an object that not only shows us genius but hides its origins in shadow. To modern eyes, the Antikythera Mechanism looks impossibly advanced. Its gearing resembles the precision of 18th century clockmakers, yet it dates to 100 BCE. This gap of nearly 1,500 years unsettles historians. How could the ancients leap so far ahead, then leave no successors? Some argue it was the work of a lone genius, a prodigy whose craft died with him. Others believe it represents an entire hidden lineage of mechanical devices, now lost to shipwrecks and decay. To skeptics, it is a warning. We must not project modern science backward too eagerly. To dreamers, it is proof that humanity has touched brilliance again and again, only to forget. Either way, the mechanism stands outside its age, an anomaly that refuses to fit the timeline, an object out of time. The mechanism survived only because of tragedy. The Roman cargo ship that carried it sank, perhaps in a storm, scattering statues, coins, and treasures across the seabed. Had the ship reached its destination, the device might have been installed in a palace or temple and eventually perished in fire, looting, or neglect. Instead, the sea preserved it, paradoxically, by corroding it into fragments. Its survival is an accident, a miracle of circumstance. How many other such devices lie lost beneath the waves, too fragile ever to be found? The Antikythera wreck gives us a tantalizing glimpse, But surely it is not the whole story. Each fragment is both treasure and torment, proof of genius, reminder of all that has been swallowed by the sea. We are left to wonder what other secrets rest beyond the reach of divers' lights. The fall of Greece and the rise of Rome marked a turning point. Practical engineering flourished in aqueducts and roads, but scientific wonder gave way to imperial utility. Devices like the mechanism required not only craftsmanship, but a culture that valued knowledge for its own sake. That culture dimmed, and with it, the spark of mechanical astronomy faded. For centuries, the heavens would once again be read through myth, religion, and naked eye. The Antikythera Mechanism became not a legacy but an orphan, its knowledge unclaimed. It is a tragedy as much as a marvel, proof that human progress is not inevitable but fragile, dependent on preservation. What was lost with this machine may never be fully regained. And yet, in its fragments, we hear the echo of a civilization that once reached for the stars with gears of bronze. Who built the Antikythera Mechanism? Some scholars believe it emerged from the school of Archimedes, whose genius in mechanics and mathematics was legendary. Others point to Hipparchus, the astronomer who mapped the heavens with extraordinary accuracy, as the mind behind its astronomical calculations. Still others suggest it was crafted by unknown artisans, whose names have been erased by time, but whose brilliance shines through the gears. Theories abound, but none can be proven. The mechanism is silent, offering no signature, no mark of ownership. This anonymity deepens the mystery. It forces us to see not just one man's genius, but the possibility of a tradition, a hidden lineage of knowledge passed quietly from master to apprentice. Whether lone invention or school of thought, the mechanism reveals an ancient culture where intellect and craft converged in ways modern history has struggled to acknowledge. Could the Antikythera Mechanism be only one survivor of many? Some historians believe similar devices may once have existed, scattered across the Hellenistic world. If so, most would have perished in fires, wars, or the slow decay of bronze and wood. The shipwreck at Antikythera might simply have preserved the lone fragment of a wider scientific tradition. Imagine workshops in Rhodes or Alexandria, where engineers built machines to track eclipses, guide sailors, or teach the mysteries of the cosmos. If such devices did exist, their disappearance is a sobering reminder of how fragile human achievement can be. We remember pyramids and temples because they are stone, but knowledge carved in bronze and wood is easily lost, leaving only tantalizing glimpses. The mechanism whispers that history is incomplete, that behind the silence there may lie an entire chapter of science erased by time. The true depth of the mechanism's design was revealed only in recent decades. Using advanced imaging, scientists employed CT scans to peer inside its corroded fragments. What they found astonished them. More than 30 gears, precisely cut, forming a complex web of astronomical ratios. Inscriptions, once unreadable, came to light, describing eclipse cycles, calendars, and planetary motions. Piece by piece, the machine was reborn in digital reconstructions, its dials turning once again after 2 millennia of silence. Modern engineers marveled at its sophistication, admitting that such craftsmanship rivaled 18th century clockwork. The rediscovery is not only about what the Greeks achieved, but about what modern science can recover. It is a collaboration across centuries, ancient ingenuity and modern technology, combining to reveal a wonder almost lost forever. The mechanism proves that even broken fragments can still speak if we learn to listen with the right tools. Today, the Antikythera Mechanism is displayed in Athens, encased in glass, its corroded fragments revered like holy relics. It inspires not only historians but engineers, astronomers, and philosophers. For some, it is proof that human genius is timeless, not confined to modernity. For others, it is a cautionary tale. Knowledge can be lost as easily as it is gained. The mechanism's legacy lies in its paradox. It shows us how advanced the ancients were, yet how fragile their achievements became when civilizations fell. It bridges past and present, reminding us that innovation is not a straight line, but a fragile flame, passed from one hand to the next. Each visitor who gazes upon it feels the same awe, that long before us, another people sought to hold the heavens in their hands. The Antikythera Mechanism remains one of the most enigmatic artifacts ever discovered. It is more than bronze and gears. It is a symbol of humanity's eternal quest to understand the universe. Its story is one of triumph and tragedy, of genius achieved, then forgotten, only to be rediscovered centuries later. It forces us to question our assumptions. How much knowledge has been lost? How many wonders still lie beneath the sea or buried in the earth? Perhaps the greatest lesson of the mechanism is humility. We are not the first to seek the secrets of the cosmos, nor will we be the last. As its gears once turned to reveal the heavens, so too does its mystery turn our minds toward the vast unknown. The Antikythera Mechanism is not just an ancient computer, it is a mirror, reflecting the boundless curiosity that defines us all. Word count 160.